when you're searching for that internship, if I don't get this, my life
Powered by
is
Riverside
over. And it's
FM.
like, no, but you're focusing on that.
Right.
And when you focus on that and give it all this energy, you're overestimating the impact. This doesn't need to control my mind and my life. Like, this is a feeling, this is a thought, maybe it's trying to tell me something, but like just knowing in the first place that you are not your thoughts and you are not your feelings. What are we going to be talking about today?
Today we're going to be talking about you are doing enough and battling the idea that you're not.
Yeah.
It's a big one.
A moment for that, because I think that, if you're alive in this day and age, it's like, I don't know anyone who's not battling from this feeling of, this time pressure of time is running out and the clock is ticking towards what? I don't know. But it's this pressure, and like I feel it horribly sometimes, like to the point where I feel like I'm literally like sinking in a lake or an ocean, and like I can't even get out. That's so dramatic, but it can genuinely feel that way sometimes.
Yeah, and being constantly compared to your peers, your siblings, your parents, there's all of it. Hi guys, welcome to the first episode of Her Career, Her Way, a real talk space about the messy, exciting, and uncertain journey of starting out in the business world. We're your hosts, Hazel.
And I'm Gracie.
Two young women navigating our own paths in business. From mindset shifts to practical tools, we're here to share what we're learning to help you gain clarity, build confidence, and take charge of your career your way.
Yay! Welcome to our first episode, guys.
I was reading a book on the subway today, The 4 Agreements, which you recommended.
Oh my gosh, how is it?
It's so good, but I had to bring this little quote to it. I'll link this down below, but the quote was, "We pretend to be what we are not because we are afraid of being rejected. The fear of being rejected becomes the fear of not being good enough." I thought it was very poignant and very fitting for this episode, because I feel like as women, we're kind of told not to take up space, whether that's being physical, like keeping our legs crossed and just, on airplanes fitting into those tight, just feeling like you can't spread out like a man. Literally the definition of mansplaining, kind of like that. And kind of taught to be agreeable and not have our own beliefs because we're afraid of what others might think or what others might say. And I feel like we're always constantly fearful of just being in the wrong and wanting to be perfect. And I know I've experienced that.
Yeah, so like thinking about like why, because that's always my first question, which like whether or not that really helps you solve it is questionable, but I'm just someone who loves to understand why. So what you just said right there, like comparing yourself to your peers and that, I feel like we're the first generation that's grown up completely online. Like I've had social media since I was 8 years old. Literally been on Instagram. Yeah.
Okay.
I got my first phone. I was never filtered by my parents. They learned with not my new sister, but my younger sister, that they need to filter her. I was never filtered. And I really think that like growing up so chronically online, back then it used to be way more casual, but today it's not even social media. It's like just media. And it's like, it's almost like a resume where we are posting things and then we forget that this is a perfectly curated thing. And so like, I feel like that is one of the biggest reasons today of like this comparison between, you and your peers, you and your friends, like I'm not doing enough.
Yeah, I call Instagram like the highlights of your life, not the reality, because that's literally what it is. And it's also just, it feels like sometimes when you're in university that whether it's your college counselor or your peers are like, have you gotten an internship? What are you doing this summer? Who are you talking to? Are you going to be working at the Big Four or whatever? And you don't even have a chance to think, do I really want to go into consulting? Do I want to be an investment banker? Like, what do you actually want? And I feel like they don't give you enough options sometimes at schools, because at least at my school, it feels like you either go into marketing or it's finance. There's no like in between. And that just feels pressurizing in general. And then there's countless of kids trying to get internships at all these different, big four companies or named brands. And you just feel overwhelmed that that's what you have to do rather than taking a step back to think, do I actually want to? And then, like you said, why do I want to do this? Am I actually passionate about it? And then you forget that what you want to do in life.
Yeah, I feel like you just said a bunch of things that we need to unpack in this episode that are either causes or symptoms of this feeling of not doing enough. And one thing my mind was instantly drawn to as you started talking is like you said, Instagram is the highlight of my life. And, we are her career, her way, instantly drawn to LinkedIn, which is the highlight of your career life. I'm chronically on LinkedIn. Like it's my red flag, I guess. No, just kidding. Yeah. But I am chronically on LinkedIn. And like I remember when I was applying to internships, like, first of all, you're seeing everyone posting, I'm so thrilled to announce. Like you just see those 5 words and you're like, oh my gosh, another one. I'm so thrilled to announce internship here, job here, this achievement. And it's this literal feed of like achievements from other people that are just not meant to make you feel like you're not doing enough, but obviously do make you feel that way. And going even further, it's like you go to apply, right? You're seeing thousands of applicants for one job and you're like, well, crap, like how the heck am I meant to stand out? And it's funny, it's like comparison seems really tied into this idea of like feeling like you're not doing enough. And I love that you brought it up because I think that is the root cause of that feeling.
Yeah, I think comparison is actually so self-destructive in a way because you don't really know what that person is going through or how they got there. And so I feel like you're just missing loads of the story that actually come together for that.
Absolutely. And two things come to mind instantly. The first is that, and I read this in a book, but the only person you should be comparing yourself is you yesterday or you in the past. It's like, imagine that you and everyone you're comparing yourself to are on a field, but you're on this level playing field and your goal is to make it straight out in front of you, like just taking steps forward in a straight line. And so is everyone else. And it's like, for some reason, we all look around and like, we see someone like 20 steps ahead of us or someone 20 steps behind us. And we're like using that as an indicator of how well we're doing. When in reality, the only thing that matters is, did we take one step in front of ourselves? Because the finish line is out there. Like it's going to be where it's at no matter what. There really is no finish line, but that's another talk. But yeah, it's so easy to get sucked into, oh, well, I see her and she's 20 steps. Okay, and like, it doesn't matter. And also something I'd love to dive into that you said earlier is this idea that, this feeling makes us stop thinking about what it is we even want.
Yeah.
Because I know when I was looking for an internship, I was applying to so many. I was applying to anything, everything, every industry, not every location because I wanted to be in New York, but everything else, I was applying to everything. And it's like, wait a second, like, I don't even want half of these. Like, if I were to get it, I wouldn't even feel happy, And
you're wasting so much time applying to all of these things as well.
Time, mental energy, like all of your resources. And it's towards something you don't, like, if you got it at the end of the day, would you even be happy?
Right. Or would you be happy that you got accepted more so than the job itself?
Yeah.
Yeah.
No. And it's like energy towards something, like energy towards like an outcome is not equal. No. Like
it's not fulfilling either.
Yeah. No. You think about like the 80-20 principle and it's like, an action you take may have a bigger impact on the outcome than a different one. And when you're applying to everything, you're really decreasing your chances. And this is an idea I come across often. It's like, if it's like this idea that doing everything equals doing nothing. Like being friends with everyone is being friends with nobody. Like, and Other examples, I swear I see it all the time. Do you have any on the top of your head? Like,
I don't have any on the top of my head about just that, but
yeah.
I do have an example of a comparison story
Oh,
of just
oh,
somebody
story
that.
time.
So, for preface, I would say like a gap year to just figure out my life after, the pandemic, which I think was hard on every single one of
Oh yeah.
us, which has also made getting a job and everything so much harder and online, whatever. So this person was a grade below me. And of course, the dangers of LinkedIn is that you just go on and you read about this and then you deep dive into what other things they've accomplished, and or you see Instagram highlights and where they are and
And it just
whatnot.
makes you feel bad.
It made me feel so bad.
Yeah.
And I think the part that also made me feel bad is that she was doing something that I actually wanted to do. And so I would see, going to Vogue, or, going on runways, or making clothes and designing, going to school, like summer school in Paris, and just things like that. And it was basically everything that I wanted to do. But then I also, after time and therapy, thank you, I realized that why am I being so hard on myself? I'm doing the things that I need to do. And also, maybe instead of using it as comparison, I should be using it as inspiration for what I wanted to do.
Love that reframe.
And so I realized that I don't think I really want to go into designing, but fashion is something I've always been interested. And how can I kind of use her and what she's been doing as a direction for me, a very vague direction for something that I can start pursuing. And so I used it as kind of ammunition to get going and apply and seeing where she's going to these schools. And if I wanted to go to school for that, or if I wanted to just go and apply for internships in fashion instead, and seeing what I really wanted to do, researching the roles like merchandising or buying, and instead of comparison, draining your energy, using it to fuel you.
Yeah. No, I love that idea because something I've been big into is like emotional intelligence and that whole field of study. And
we'll do an episode on that.
Yes, for sure. It'll probably be in every episode. But basically, when you are comparing or going back to the whole feeling of being behind and not doing enough, those strike up feelings of like fear and envy and maybe anger and like a lot of negative emotions. But I love what you're saying, like, it doesn't have to be that way because I believe that when you feel a certain emotion, it's trying to tell you something. It's not trying to make your life worse and ruin your day. And no, like if you look at someone doing something like how you said, you saw this girl, she was doing what you wanted to be doing, and you felt maybe a pang of jealousy. But some people will take that, and I mean, nobody teaches us this, so it's to nobody's fault that we take that and we just feel worse. But really, I love the reframe of like, okay, what is this telling me? Like, I'm inspired by what she's doing. Like, I wish I was doing what she's doing. So, okay, what do I need to do to start doing what she's doing? I love that.
Yeah. So step 1, reframe comparison to inspiration.
First solution. Second, delete social media. No, I'm kidding.
Third, maybe limit your time on LinkedIn.
Yeah. I mean, honestly though, like if you notice that like social media is draining you, like it's okay to set a boundary. I have time limits on all of my apps. I just graduated, and a lot of people go on, grad trips around Europe, around the world, really. And I saw this girl. I love her, and I'm so happy she got to go on this trip. She was like in the Philippines and in Thailand and Bali and all these cool places. And I'm on Snapchat, like going through private stories, and I'm like, wait a second, like this is making me feel like, what the heck? Why am I not in Bali? When like I'm in New York living my dream, doing my dream like I'm not even upset with my life, and I'm feeling like I should be doing something differently when like I've been fighting for like to be where I am now. So it's like You know, when you're able to kind of take a step back and like put a little space in between the feelings, you start to realize, whoa, like I don't, this doesn't need to control my mind and my life. Like, this is a feeling, this is a thought. You know, maybe it's trying to tell me something, but like just knowing in the first place that you are not your thoughts and you are not your feelings and like being able to put some space there is really, really helpful.
Yeah, absolutely. And I feel like you always want what you don't have.
You always think the grass is greener.
You always do. But in reality, it normally isn't. And you should, and like you said, you need to also just appreciate where you are and your life.
Yeah. No, and actually, I did some research recently on like, why do we think the grass is greener? Because, stupid story, but basically it was July 4th, and I'm watching these amazing fireworks, by the Hudson River. I'm seeing them come from Jersey City. And,
Nice.
and then I can kind of see the Manhattan ones like near Brooklyn, but
Mhm.
they're like blocked. And I started to get upset. And I'm like, I want to see the Manhattan ones. Mind you, there are beautiful fireworks, probably the same fireworks that
Yeah.
right in front of me in my field of vision. And that really sparked something in me. Like, why do I want to see the other ones so bad when I have something just as good right in front of me? So I started to deep dive and like try to figure out the answer to that. And I learned about something called the focusing illusion or the focus illusion,
Cool.
where basically when we focus on something, we kind of overestimate its importance and like its effect on our happiness.
Mhm.
We overestimate that. So like an interesting study for you. Basically, like this guy was giving a TED talk and he asked the audience, you know, if you have two options, try and envision which one you want. The first is becoming or winning the lottery. The second is becoming paraplegic. Which do you think is gonna have a greater impact on your happiness?
Me-
What do you think?
I'd want to win the lottery.
Yeah, that's what
Wouldn't.
most people, I mean, yeah, nobody wants to do the other one, but it's like, actually, the study showed that a few months or even I think 1 month out from that event occurring, same levels of happiness between both groups.
Wow.
Like, but you think, oh no, this will ruin my life. If I don't do this, it's gonna ruin my life. When you're searching for that internship, if I don't get this, my life is over. And it's like, no, but you're focusing on that.
Right.
And when you focus on that and give it all this energy, you're overestimating the impact. The reality is we always go back to our baseline of our happiness or our just emotional baseline in general. And to wrap it all up, like tie it all together, the answer is when you're struggling with something, one possible solution for you is to actually call a friend and don't talk about your problem.
Mhm.
Talk about their life. Like ask your friend how she's doing and like what she's dealing with.
Mhm.
And just like talk to her about her problems or her joys. You'll be shocked because like you're not focusing on your issues anymore. You're not giving them energy and you'll realize, oh, it's gonna be fine.
Yeah, I think
So-
it's really important to put things in perspective
Mm-hmm.
because with what you just said about what if I didn't get an internship, if we take that scenario and think about, well, what really is the worst things that can come out of it? And then kind of reflecting on that. Well, maybe it's not so bad. I mean, if I don't get an internship, then maybe I could get a job somewhere
Yeah.
and do that. And I mean, work experience is, I think, the number one thing that everyone should do, especially in customer service. Just that can teach you so many skills that you can, I mean, because we're talking about business, you can put on your resume, but also just the connections that you can make too. And so having that perspective of it's not really that bad, and talking to a friend sometimes can just, even if you're not talking about your issue, can kind of just give you perspective about other people's struggles and kind of, I don't know, have a little bit of courage that you're not in it alone because they're also, suffering with something else. Or just taking your mind off completely and just talking about some good things. I mean, more than half the time, I think we complain about things than actually talk about happy things. And I think that's really interesting. And I've been trying to work on not complaining as much because, I mean, who wants to complain? I think it's, there's so many things that are going well in my life and your life, I'm sure. And why can't we just focus our energy on that? I mean, that's so much more fulfilling.
Yeah, absolutely. And going back to what you said at the beginning of when you started talking,
Just like talk too long.
no, because you bring up so many points and my brain is making all these connections. But I have this quote and I've never forgotten it. It's that anxiety is an inability to think things through. And it's like going back to what you said, we feel this immense pressure of if we don't get an internship, the world's going to end. But what is the worst case scenario? I mean, think it through. You're not going to actually literally die. You are going to be fine. Yeah. And then that leads me to the next point of what you were saying. Like, you don't know who you're going to meet. And it's like, we forget that we think that we can plan everything to a T. We think we have so much control over how things play out in our lives. And that's the real, like, secret silent killer, is like us trying to control every detail, because we can't think about, the people we need to meet to make like our vision 5 years down the line come into fruition. We can't think about the experience we need to stumble upon that will, like, there are so many weird things that connect in weird ways. And it's one of my favorite things of like talking to other people to hear how their story has played out, because you'll always hear, oh yeah, and then I was at Soul Cycle, I ran into my old boss, and then I got a job. It's like crazy. The craziest ways that things work out is like, it's so awesome to hear, because we forget that and we think we need a plan for every detail. But when you're able to release control over like the how, you will literally start to feel so much better. And it really is that simple. I know it's not easy, but it's very simple. It's letting go of the need to control. You know what you want. You know where you're going. You need to let go of how you're going to get there, every detail, and like the timeline, because things just don't work like that.
And that goes perfectly into the second step, is there is no timeline. There's literally no timeline. Take the small steps, live day by day, and just see how it goes. And I think living in the moment is so, so important. And I remember when I was working in a job, and one of my colleagues, I mean, she didn't plan this. We were just helping out people. And lo and behold, the person was, on the board of, gosh, now I'm forgetting what it's called. The Met. The Met. Oh my gosh, she was on the board of the Met Gala. And her husband was like the owner of the biggest, fashion, whatever. And they got on to talking, and she was like, well, if you're ever in New York, call me up, and, maybe I'll have a position for you. Wow. And so you never know who you're going to meet. And I think as somebody who loves to control things and has had a really difficult time not controlling everything, because that's impossible, I think it's really important to kind of set your intentions of what you want, go out and do the best you can to get it. But then also just let the universe take it from there, because I think that's where the magic happens, when you try your best, you do everything you can, and then you just kind of let it go.
Yeah, I love that. And I love the concept of like, there is no timeline. It's funny how we forget this over and over. Like, I'm literally talking about myself, but like, our culture today makes us think that there is a timeline, because we have become so convenience centered. Like, we literally can have groceries delivered to our door in an hour. Like, that didn't used to be that way. And like, we have access to so much information at any given time. It's like, things don't take that long in our culture anymore. And now it's like, oh my gosh, AI is exploding. Like, you got to get on that if you're in business. Like, you need to have these skills or you're going to be kicked out. It's like, all of this is making us feel like, there's doom impending. But like, when you step back, like we said, when you think through, like, no, it's actually going to be fine. And then you remember that, like, it's like, this is going to sound like a cliche LinkedIn post, but it's like, Steve Jobs didn't make Apple till he was like 40 or 50, like Bill Gates, like name anyone with a very like successful business, Amazon. All of these businesses were not made when someone was 21. Like
No.
maybe someone got lucky and you hear that, but like in reality, like people go through a lot of things before they start things and before they succeed. Like I think remembering that and that it's never too late. And also I heard this beautiful quote once that was like, it was something like you plant the seeds, but it's
Mm-hmm.
not going to bloom overnight. And to remember that like you're a flower and you're blooming and like it's okay that you didn't bloom in 30 seconds or one day, you know? Like let yourself bloom and you will still bloom no
Yeah.
regardless of what time it's at.
No, yeah. I mean,
I'm
for some
sorry.
reason that reminds me of like going through puberty.
Oh
Like
no.
we're literally all at our own time.
Wait, true.
It's so true though.
Oh
Like,
my gosh, we've gone off the rails.
I mean, we're all girls here. I mean, shout out to the guys listening
Yeah.
too.
We
But
forgot.
I'm sure everybody got their, their period at a different time or
Yeah, some
whatever.
people
And growth
do it.
spurts are different times and just that's who we are. I mean,
And it doesn't
you're
matter.
only you. There's only one of you. And I think we forget that.
Yeah.
And we also fixate on others' successes, but we only fixate on our failures.
Yes.
And so I think the third thing is lower your expectations for others and just focus on your own expectations for yourself and try to go from there.
Yeah, and in that kind of same vein, when I really struggle, I've started to make two things. The first is a win list. So like I like to write down like things that I've accomplished big and small so that if I'm feeling like, oh my God, I haven't done anything, I'm a failure, I can go back and look at this list and be like, wait, no, I'm not. That's a lie. I'm not buying into this thought. That's a lie. And the second thing is I've actually started keeping a tracker of like things that I love and things that just like things that I learn about myself because it's like we date other people and we learn about them and we like try to like really give our undivided attention and like make them happy and get them gifts. They'll like, that's like, we forget that, we gotta date ourselves too. And like,
Oh yeah.
we need to give ourselves that same attention of like, what do I like? What do I not like? And so I have a running list when I feel very strongly like, wow, I love this, or like, wow, I really hate this. Which is only one. It's throwing things down the trash chute. I hate throwing things down the trash chute, but I have a lot more things that I love. So like, stupid girl things like I love acai bowls and like.
I mean, I love chocolate.
Yeah,
I love dark
and it's like,
chocolate.
you know what? When you're freaking out because you feel so stressed, go get yourself something that you love because
yeah.
guess what? You can enjoy an acai bowl and the world's not going to end and nothing's going to fall apart and it's okay. You just have to remember that like these thoughts are not you and you don't have to buy into them at all.
Yeah. Another thing that I do in terms of just what I think that I haven't done enough in general, I write down or I time block like everything I've done that day. Or I write down every single thing that I did that day. And it can be as little as I made the bed, I made breakfast, I went to grab coffee with a friend, I picked up a book from a bookstore, or I went window shopping, whatever it was. And I think it just will amaze you when you do it about actually how much you've done.
Yeah.
Because I think you forget.
It's almost like a short-term win list.
And it's okay if you literally just sat on the couch and watched Love Island, which I'm sure we all did when the season finale came out. And that's absolutely fine. I mean, but was it fun? Did you like it? Did you have fun?
Yeah.
And just, and you can have up and down days where some days are busier and some days aren't. And that's fine because it's part of life. I mean, I think rest is as important as being productive.
Oh, absolutely. Don't even get me started.
That'll be another one. We don't have enough time for that. But
literally, no, we can go on and on. But just remember that there is no such thing as failure. Every failure is a learning for you to get closer to success. I know I sound, again, like a LinkedIn cliche message, but
no, yeah.
It's
you can't
almost
grow
like,
your muscles without failing.
Yeah, there you
I thought that
go.
was such a good one.
And like we all need these reminders every day. Like I have actually changed my phone screen, like lock screen, to a picture of my young self because I'm like, she deserves love. She deserves care.
Mm-hmm.
And every time I open my phone, I'm like, oh my God, that's me. That's who's inside of me. Like, I need to be kind to her and like give her the love that she deserves.
Mm-hmm.
So maybe you need to figure out how to remind yourself of these things. Maybe you need to print out some art or change your background screen, but
Yeah.
these reminders are crucial to you, like having peace and like, being able to take that rest and not feel like you're like almost a slave to your own mind.
Yeah, literally. And getting to know yourself, I think, is one of the most important things for your career and also just personal life. So to sum up this is, if you're feeling bad, state the worst scenario that you have of that situation. And I think it'll put in perspective, is it really that bad? Step 2, you don't need to know your whole trajectory all at once. There is no timeline. And 3, lower your expectations for others and only focus on your own and go from there.
Yeah, I love that. And I hope that you guys got value from this.
Me too. I hope you feel like a little bit better.
A little bit, just 1% better.
1%. Maybe even
2%.
0.01%.
Oh.
That's okay.
I went bigger.
I guess we can see where our mindsets are.
No, but please, if you guys have any like feedback, if anything resonated or you want to dig more into a certain topic, like please let us know. We want to make content that you guys want.
Yeah, we want this to be a community where we're having a conversation. I mean, we're together in this learning journey as you are. And so we could probably learn a lot from you, and hopefully you can take away some good insights from us and other people that will hopefully be coming. And follow at Her Career Her Way
on Instagram, on TikTok. We're out here, guys.
And we want to hear from you too.
Yeah.
Thank you for listening. We really appreciate it.
Thanks for listening. Sending you all lots of love.
Catch us on Tuesdays or Wednesdays. We haven't figured out a weekday, so we should find that out.
Of the week.
Any day of the week.
Catch us next week. Love you guys.
Love you.